Messiah, welcome to 69 Faces of Rock. How are you guys doing today?
Fine,
Thank you.
Great.
Introduce yourself and tell me what you do in the band.
My name is Steve. I'm the drummer in the band, and I'm playing the drums for Messiah since 1990.
I am the original member, Brögi. The only left original member from the old times. And yeah, I do the shit again.
Okay. So Messiah formed back in 1984. What do you remember from that time?
I remember that we couldn't play an instrument with just metal fans. We came together, 3 persons. Jesse, our old drummer, Jersey, the singer. And then we started rehearsing without playing an instrument. And we did it like we feel. We started very brutal and noisy and without a plan, just for make noise and fun, and yeah, that's how it started. And then we made a demo, and it was a tape trading scene to this time, and so we remarked there's a lot of people that like the shit what we do, but was no chance to get a deal or something. So first we had a small concert in bar in hometown, and so we started, and we decided to do more, learning more the instruments, doing more. Jesse started to playing bass. The very first unreleased demo was without bass, and yeah, that's, we started as metal fans, and remarked that a lot of people in the world like what we do with the tape trading.
Tell me about your hometown.
Oh, it's a very small, it's called Bar, a very small town in central Switzerland, where we lived to this time. But it had also a record studio. And then we entered this small studio. There was a guy there that had no idea about the music we make, nothing, metal, nothing, and he think, what's that? What you're doing? I don't know what to do. So we did it by ourselves. We showed me the console, and we started like this. Yeah.
Were there any other bands in your town that were doing something similar?
The old guys.
Like any other bands from your town that were doing something similar to what you did?
Yeah, they had also bands, but not metal or extreme music like we did. But this very small scene, the whole Switzerland has a scene. Each one knows the other, but especially Barnard. We're the only one.
Cool. All right, so what we're gonna do right now is go through your releases, right? We're gonna show each record and tell stories. Tell me anything you remember from that time, any anecdotes, anything that comes to mind. So
yeah.
Begin with the first one.
Okay, this is the debut album. Enter Glen Ellyn, was released 1986, and as I told before, we had first the demos no chance to get a deal, so a friend of us financed it, gave us the money, and we entered the small studio in Bar, and we did everything by ourselves. It's an 8-track recording, very simple, and we made the sound like we liked it to do, without technical knowings, only learning the console, and I can say we a little bit rehearsed during the recordings. Yeah, and then we pressed first 2,000 copies with the black cover, black vinyl, and then there were 5,000 in red. A second release, and pressing. Yeah, and so it was going on. And then we had the first shows to this time. First show in Switzerland, St. Gallen with Celtic Frost. That was our first big show. And a lot of people came from Germany, outside from Switzerland. And so it became more interesting for people what Messiah's doing.
Excellent. Were you able to tour for this album or only selected shows?
No, it were only single concerts, but then soon we started shows in Germany, Switzerland also, and Holland, and Belgium.
How did this album do for you?
Sorry?
How did this album do for you? Like, how much recognition did you get from this record?
I think this was the shit for Messiah. So this was the first the debut release, and is still very good known in the scene. So this was the Kickstarter for the band.
Yeah, for us, we were proud of it.
It put you on the map.
That we had a record, and you know, this time there was no digital world, and first time to hold our own record in our hands. That was a very big thing for us. And then also for the fans, that became a bigger scene for us.
Great.
Messiah always lived from the fans, not from a record company or something like this, because we still are fans, not yeah. You know what I mean?
I mean, the funny thing is, I would already see Messiah T-shirts in Chicago back then.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So the impact was definitely felt,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
which was a cool thing. Well, let's move on to the record number 2, Extreme Cold Weather.
Yes, okay. This is the second one. The first side, A side, is a studio recording with the title track Extreme Cold Weather. The B side is live recordings from Holland and Germany. And to this time, we never took that it became a little bit cult status, because it was more Extreme Cold Weather is more a fun song, and there was a little bit of joke. Everyone put on covers skulls and things like this. To this time, I was learning my proof, and I'm sitting on the table drawing, and then I saw a calendar with this picture, and I thought, Extreme Cold Weather, ice beer. Okay, we take it. The other guys, Tracy and Chelsea, think, yeah, that's cool. So we put it on it, and the lyrics, Extreme Cold Weather, very simple. 1987 was fucking shit cold in Switzerland, and we hated to go to school in this when we are freezing. So that's the story in the lyrics, and then this ice beer.
No polar bears in Switzerland, though.
No.
In the zoo, maybe. In the zoo.
And then in my bathroom for the children.
Well, there was a picture last year. There was an extreme cold in Texas, and somebody made a picture of like taken out of a car where somebody's driving in Texas, and there's a polar bear on the side.
But to this time, we never had an idea or to think about it. It's not that 40 years later or 35 years later it became so special for the fans, and that it would be something special. It was a joke to this time for us.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
I go.
This is where you come in.
This is Psychomorphia. Psychomorphia is an EP, and this is my first record. I joined the band as a session drummer at that time. So first they tried to record a demo, Psychomorphia. This is the original release by Noise Records. Came out a little bit later with a new mix and stuff. But I was asked by Brögi for joining the band to session drums. So I did it, and I liked it very much, and he liked it also very much, I think.
Yeah.
So then shortly later, after the recording, I joined the band, and I'm still in the band. So this is for me,
Starting point.
Very important album, because I didn't know what happened with me. So it was a surprise to join the band.
Yeah, I can add.
I'm proud of this.
Yeah. Cool.
Outstanding. It didn't stop there, right?
Right.
Let's move on to the next one.
You want to say?
You want to say something else to it? Yeah.
there's another thing. As I renewed Messiah in 1990, it was the first time we could working more professional. So the original records, we also financed by ourselves. Before then, the album was gone to Noise, and there was a new start for me personally, to doing with Messiah something more special, better recording, better playing. With Steve, a very fantastic drummer, and also with Andy, the singer. It was a new area.
It's a new beginning.
So the new beginning, and this for me also a very important album, a mini LP.
Cool. And then the big album came in, Choir of Horrors.
Should I?
Yep.
So, yeah, this one was recorded in 1991 in Berlin, called Choir of Horrors, and we had a very good time at the studio. It was funny, so we learned to come together as a band and had a lot of fun, a lot of booze and stuff, and for me it was a great ride into the music scene, followed by many concerts in Europe. We did also touring, small touring, but we did some following shows. And maybe I have to say, we all in the band had a day job all the time, so we did it all the time as a hobby. So, and I'm very proud that I could be a part of the music thing and had a normal day job to get the money. So it was, I think for us, it was a very comfortable situation. Depends to the other bands, so they have to count every coin end of the month. So
a lot of bands had to work.
Luxury situation for us.
Yeah.
Because it's not very cheap to live in Switzerland. So yeah.
I heard.
But also here it's not cheap.
This was also This was also the first album we had our producer Sven Conquest. He did also the remixing of Psychomorphia and the following album recorded in Berlin.
Very good. All right.
Yeah, and like it is, when you
Right.
have a record deal, sometimes you become the situation, so come back to studio, we need a new album.
And there
But
comes.
at this time we were full of very
Energy.
Prepared,
energy.
full of energy.
Yeah, and it was a short time. We composed this one, Rotten Parish.
10 months.
Yes, and it's not a short album. It's it's enough time, and we rehearsed 3 times, in a week. And it was a very hard work for this one. And the special is also that it's a concept album, and introducing by a children choir and small children who's telling the story in the intro. Sorry. And this is also the album we mixed in Florida, Norris Sound. And I was going to there with Sven Conquest. And the small children who is talking the story was recorded in Tampa, in Norris Sound. And the special choir was made in Berlin. From a child choir called Omnibus.
Omnibus.
Yeah, and the dirigent teacher was the Ausbilder, das heißt das?
The teacher of Nina Hagen.
Teacher of Nina Hagen.
Okay.
But it was a very strange situation because there were about 15 young boys, and it was very hard with them. So, yeah, but this is I think for this time the most technical album, and very special, and this was also very good selling. It had also chart places in Switzerland. I think it was on the international chart, place 7 in Switzerland for 1 week. And yeah, this was the best-selling album to this time.
I was surprised that you didn't tour in the United States for this record. It was very popular at the time.
Yeah, but to this times in the 90s, I think the smaller bands like we didn't touring except Celtic Frost, and so it was well known in the States. Yes, it was also well known, but I think touring was not the same like today for in the USA to this time.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
But we more was going to the East Europe, Poland. We played 2 times in Poland. Also Metal Mania Festival.
I heard about that one.
Yes, yeah.
Excellent.
It's,
Yeah. Too bad you never came to the United States, but it's still a great record. But the story does not end here, so let's go to the next one.
We are here.
Finally, about time.
It took time.
Yeah.
Next time, yeah.
Well, you made it to Lake Michigan and Chicago downtown. I saw some pictures.
All
All right.
This is Brögi's favorite album. It is not, maybe. This is the 3rd album called Underground. So it's a
Noise album.
It's a special thing with this album because we had a lineup change. Andy, our singer, decided to leave the band just before the recordings. And also
Soon after also Fracmont.
yeah, and then we also changed the bass player. And the new bass player, Oliver, he brought a lot of influences into the sound.
I must say, Fruggy was very close with Andy, and when Andy split, 2 or 3 months later, I think, Fruggy decided, as Patrick Asher, the bass player, decided I go also out. Because he was more, for him it was important, because he was a very close friend to Andy, and so we split on his side.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
He left on his side.
So we did this album with a new singer. We played a show in Poland, I remember, with Therion, and met Christopher Johnson, the singer of Therion. And Brögi and he had a good connection and same music styles, and they had a lot to talk, and I think at that time it fit very good.
And I also organized a concert in Zug.
Yeah.
Therion was playing in Zug, and near
the
Bonn,
promoter, yeah.
And I promoted this one, and so we get more close, Christopher and me.
Yeah. So we wrote the songs together, influenced also by the bass player, by Christopher, and so it came out the typical 90s album. So a few thrash metal bands or death metal bands made some different albums. Creator did it. I think it was the time
Everyone did it.
metal, hard metal wasn't so common in the scene. There was the grunge time. I don't know why we did it. It happened. So I like it very much because it sounds more professional for me. I like the songs, and it's not Messiah. Not that kind of Messiah.
That's why it's not. That's not why it's not my favorite Messiah album, because okay, we made it, and Christopher had some ideas. He said, try to do this more with hardcore voice, and I also told us, yeah, I will do it, but I don't play guitars, no compositions. But he wrote some lyrics and brought his new voice in it. But the final result for me was not the spirit of Messiah. We did it, but for me it's not really the best Messiah album. It's okay what Steve says, it's professional, he likes it. For me it's a little bit other.
It's the Messiah without the H at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, next one.
With this album, the second area was started to finish.
It was the beginning of the end.
beginning of
the
first, second
right
area.
of this area. So we two also get some troubles together. It was more musically. He didn't like to play live anymore, and the other guys of the band wanted to go out on stage. So we had some
disagreements,
and then we decided to split up the band.
Yeah, and for me, I had no plan how should it be gone for the future. I had no plan.
Yeah, so it was maybe it was the right time to stop it, and yeah.
Sometimes you have to stop and recharge. Well, you came back.
Right.
Well, you came back. This is not the end. You came
that's
back.
another story now.
You came back with a concert, right? Which came out later.
Yes.
Yeah. And this was a
so,
big revival.
First, I must say I was always in contact with Massacre Records and some guys in the scene. Okay, I was not in the scene a long time, but only with some friends and the guys of Massacre Records. And then one time there was a question, came an Anfrage, a request if we can play a show at the Full Force Festival in Germany. And then I contacted all. Andy was living in Mexico at this time. But we said, okay, we try to do something, but we do not reunite. So we called it Reanimation. So we made one show in Switzerland. This is the live recording from this 2003 Reanimation show, and the other for the fans at the Full Force the festival. But it was from the beginning, from this project, it was clear that we don't do anything after. So
Like
it was
a
a
reunion.
short, and
planned.
it was very crazy. I stopped guitar playing 8 years, so I had to rehearse a 90-minute set. Never played guitar, so my wife showed me some riffs from the tones, like hearing. It was a crazy work for doing only 2 shows.
Yeah.
But we did, and we had a good time.
But it has I think it has a very important pre-story that we came together. So this guy, he married once.
Yeah,
and
it was
he
also,
invited,
1 year before, 2002.
and he invited us. We never had a lot of contact before.
Yeah.
So
I
I enjoyed
enjoyed
the marriage, and also the original members
Yeah, were also
joined
there.
were there for the marriage, and we had a lot of talk, and we did also a session with the original lineup at that time. I made some pictures, and the first idea was to reunite or reanimate the band for a special concert with 2 shows. First should be played from the 3 original members, and the second the 19th lineup. But this couldn't happen because Jersey, the original singer, he said, no, it's too much for me. I don't want to do this. Then we stopped this idea and came together as the 90s lineup and did these 2 shows, as you told.
How did it feel to play again?
It was like coming back into the family. I think we did the same jokes, and the group split it in 2 pieces. Brögi and me, and Andy and Patrick. So it was always like this, and it felt very, very good. And so we also decided to do only this short part, these 2 shows. It was very cool to enjoying it and do the best for it, and then goodbye.
No, but I think this generated a lot of interest in the band again.
Yeah.
People started to talk about the band again, and like the next release, it's a lot of archival stuff here, right? Yeah. So it got the ball rolling either way. Yeah. Otherwise, we would not be here today.
That's right. That's right.
So I have to say, he looked also always for the business. So in the back, he had always contact and organized some re-release
For the re-releases,
Yeah, like the Space Invaders, which is not a new
Space
release, but
Invaders,
it covers a lot of oldies. Right?
Yeah,
Can you tell us what that is?
So first, I must say, I had contact with a small label called Iron Pegasus Records. The guy Costa, and he did vinyl releases first from our very old demos, and then later this project was in my head during this time with Costa, but then I can't remember why it was come out today like this, but then I learned the guy of High Roller Records, and then he did also some releases, and then I get back to this project with him and found a lot of old tapes in my collection, and then we put this stuff together and released this special film, Space Invaders. But it's really special because I'm also interested in astrophysics and astrophotography, so that the pictures are from my work. And so I think Space Invaders is something that compares with this theme, and also these old raw rehearsal recordings. And then early time we experimented with analog synthesizers, and I found a lot of stuff of these things, and then we put it together and made this. But it's very, very hard stuff. Also not hard
for hardcore fans only.
It's crazy, crazy thing. Yeah. So this is a strange thing. It's hard to.
There's some static.
It's nothing for Steve to play. But I think the fans liked it. All fans. There's some experiences with the guitars and synthesizers, and yeah.
And finally, the new Face of Messiah, the new release, the last album, which introduces the new
Fracmont.
Fracmont, yes.
We came together for a trying. We were asked in 2017 from a good friend to play on his festival just a few songs. And he said, "Are you crazy? We never played together since 2003. It's not possible to do 3 and 4 songs." And then we came together after all these years, had a good barbecue at Brögi's home, and then we decided we will do this show, but a secret gig, so nobody should know who's the band who's playing. And we decided to do about 50 minutes showtime. So, and we also said we want to see the response of the audience, and then also how it feels again to be together. And then we decided to. It was beginning of 2018. We decided to do this now as a reunion, so for a longer time started to write songs. So he brought the ideas, and we finished the songs together in the rehearsal room, like in the old times. Everyone brought his ideas, and I think it was very interesting to go back like we worked in the early times. Now in this time, in the other bands I play, we work totally different. So there are demos with a drum computer and finished with guitars and vocals, and then I have to record my drums for that. And this was very special for me to go back and work on the songs, on the structure together, and then we entered the studio to a very good friend of mine, guy over there, V.O. Polder. He's also a producer, and I play in his other band, Gert. And I told the guys we should go to recording our new album with V.O. And we did this, and we have for me, I'm very proud of this product.
How did the fans respond to this new album?
I think that they were surprised that it's okay. It sounds in in the way of today, like records can sound, but it's still, the remark is still Messiah, and I think it's the whole things in Messiah are in it, from with the feeling, with the trademarks, but with the feelings we have today. I must add that first we talked about doing an album. That for me, I said first we do it for us and then for the fans, and we didn't think about it must sound like bands today sounds, and or it must be an album. It must sound like the early times. So we did it the same like early times. We just play and do how we feel today, and that's the result. And the fans gave us back a very good response, yeah. And also on some magazines, yeah. Okay, it is a little bit special with the opener song Fracmont. We discussed a lot. Should we place this song as first song on the album? But it worked. So there was no negative.
It's a great record.
Yeah.
It's a great record.
Yeah.
Finally, what's next?
We're working on the new album now.
Sunday.
Oh yeah, that's great.
The Brewer House.
So you're making a special appearance.
9:55.
Yes, in the United States, playing your
Stage.
second show. Will there be any more records at this point?
Yeah, we're still working. We're in the finishing part, the upcoming album, and there need some guitars to be done, and some vocals stuff, and the mixing and mastering will be coming, I think, till end of the year, and we will release the album in the spring next year, because we will have anniversary, 40 years of Messiah, and we decided to do this together as a special year, new album, anniversary, and we planning to do some good shows, special shows maybe. And maybe also the anniversary release with some old re-recordings. We've been thinking about, still thinking about.
There's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, and a special release show, because we hadn't it with Fracmont, because okay, you're waiting 27 years and you come back with a new album and you are landing in the Corona time.
Yeah, we had the COVID, as you also had.
But there's that one now, with new albums, so we have some plans for next year. Yeah. And another thing is special, we have a new second guitarist in the band, first live playing with us, B.O.
Our producer and second
producer,
guitarist.
yeah. And this is brings us more quality in the band now. And for the new songs, for the new album, so we composed together some guitar riffings. Okay, the themes are from me and the lyrics, but it will be, yeah, I think a newer area starting, but it still will be Messiah.
Yeah, we had a tragical moment. November last year. Our singer Andy, he died. He had a heart attack, and yeah, this was a very sad thing. But I must say, he left the band before, and we already had a new singer, Marcus. He joined the band a few months before. But it was a very dark moment for the band, because we had a long and good time together with Andy. And I think the new album will also be
Like a tribute?
To Andy, and it starts definitely a new area with a new singer, a second guitarist, new influences, and I must say it sounds great what we have now recorded, but it sounds a little bit different to Fracmont.
Okay, Marcus' voice is very brutal, but he have a spectrum from dark singing and also like some screams like we did it earlier. So it's I think it's a good mixing, and this gives the new songs more style. So I think it's not only typical death metal. Some songs are more thrash metal than like this. Also because of the voice of Marcus, because he also has high screamings and things like this.
Yeah, and it will be a much faster album than Fracmont.
Yeah.
So faster songs, more into the face.
We can say it will be more macho.
I'm looking forward to that. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good time.